The final song of Outlander has left fans speechless. It feels like an ending, yet at the same time it opens a door to something new. People are calling it the Back to the Future moment of the series, a signal that the story of Claire and Jamie is not finished. Across social media, fans are begging for more episodes, more spin-offs, more glimpses into the world they have grown to love. The music is haunting, emotional, and powerful, making many wonder if this is truly the end, or a clue that something bigger is coming. For years, Outlander has been more than just a television series. It has been an escape into a world filled with love, danger, time travel, and unforgettable characters. From the very first moment, Claire Randall was pulled through the stones into the past. Fans were hooked. They watched as she faced impossible choices between 2 centuries, 2 lives, and 2 loves. The journey with her and Jamie Fraser has been filled with breathtaking battles, heartbreaking sacrifices, and a love story that has stood the test of time itself. As the seasons unfolded, Outlander became a rare kind of show. It balanced history with fantasy, blending real-world events with the mystery of time travel. Viewers were not just watching characters, they were living with them. Fans celebrated victories alongside Jamie, cried with Claire when she lost everything, and gasped as the series pushed boundaries that most dramas never dare to cross. It was never only about romance or adventure, it was about identity, destiny, and the courage to face the unknown. Now, after such a long journey, the series reached its final chapter. And just when fans thought they knew how it would close, the final song began to play. It was not simply a piece of music placed at the end. It felt like a story within itself. Every note carried weight. Every melody felt like a message. It was as if the creators were telling fans that the journey may be ending on screen, but in spirit, the story will live on forever. The impact of this song is not small. Fans are replaying it over and over, analyzing the way it sounds, the way the way it makes them feel, and the way it connects to the theme of moving between past and future. Some believe it is a farewell. Others believe it is a hint. Whatever the truth may be, the reaction is the same. No one wants this story to end. Think about how rare this is in television. Most shows finish and fade from memory within weeks. Outlander, however, has created something far stronger. The final song has become a rallying cry. People are gathering online, demanding that the creators give them more, whether in the form of a spin-off, a movie, or even just a continuation of the saga. The fact that fans are not ready to let go is proof of how deeply Outlander has touched their hearts. The emotional weight of this moment comes not only from the music, but from the years of storytelling behind it. Every hardship Jamie and Claire faced, every sacrifice they made, every moment of passion they shared has led to this. The final song feels like the echo of their journey, a way of saying goodbye without ever really closing the door. And that is why people are calling it the Back to the Future moment, because instead of feeling like the end, it feels like the beginning of another possibility. The final song of Outlander does not just play in the background. It rises. It breathes. It carries the weight of everything that has come before. It is soft at first, almost like a whisper, the kind of sound that makes you stop and listen more closely. Then, as the melody grows, it begins to echo the struggles and victories of the characters we have followed for years. This is not an ordinary ending theme. It feels like a memory, like a voice from the past, calling out to the future. Fans noticed something special about the rhythm. It does not sound like pure farewell music. Instead, it has an energy that feels unfinished. The haunting notes carry sorrow, but they also hold a spark of hope. The tune climbs and falls, as if pulling us back into every moment we have lived through Claire and Jamie. Every beat seems to whisper, their journey may not be over. The brilliance of this composition lies in its ability to feel both final and open-ended at the same time. Some viewers described it as a song of 2 worlds. On one side, it feels like the closing of a circle, a reminder that all stories must have an ending. But on the other side, it feels like an invitation, as if the music itself is asking us to step into another chapter that has not yet been written. This is why so many fans connected it to the idea of Back to the Future. Just like the famous film, the music plays with time, carries us backward through memory, yet pushes us forward into something unknown. The power of music in Outlander has always been underestimated. From the theme song that welcomed us into each season to the melodies hidden in emotional scenes, music has acted as a silent storyteller. In the final episode, this truth becomes undeniable. The last song is not decoration. It is the heart of the goodbye. It tells us what words cannot. That is why fans are replaying it endlessly, breaking it down, and even creating their own theories. Was it written to close the story forever? Or was it meant to plant a seed, to remind us that time travel itself means nothing ever truly ends? What makes this moment unique is how personal it feels. When the song plays, every fan hears something different. For some, it is the sound of closure, a chance to let go and thank the characters for their journey. For others, it is a clear sign that there is more to come, that the creators are leaving a trail of breadcrumbs leading into another story. And for many, it is simply impossible to hear the music without crying, because it reminds them that Outlander has been more than a series. It has been a part of their own lives, woven into years of watching, waiting, and feeling. The genius of the final song lies in its duality. It can be both goodbye and hello. It can be an ending and a beginning. It can be the sound of loss and the sound of hope. That is why fans are calling it unforgettable. Because deep down, it feels less like the end of Outlander and more like the start of a new legend. Waiting to be told, when fans began calling the Outlander finale a Back to the Future moment, it wasn't just a catchy phrase, it was a recognition that the show's final song and closing scenes carried the same kind of magic that made the classic film unforgettable. At its core, both Outlander and Back to the Future are stories about the fragile line between time, destiny, and love. They remind us that the past is never gone, the present is never safe, and the future is always waiting to be rewritten. Think about what Back to the Future gave us. It wasn't only a wild ride through time. It was a story about identity, about the choices we make, and how even the smallest change can ripple across history. Outlander has carried that same torch from the beginning. Claire did not just fall through the stones into another century. She stepped into the unknown, and with every choice she made, whether to heal, to fight, to love, she changed the world around her. Just like Marty McFly, Claire is proof that one person's journey through time can shift the destiny of everyone she touches. The final song feels like a direct mirror to this idea. Its rising tones echo the way time bends, folds, and repeats. When listeners described it as pulling them backward and forward at the same time, they were not exaggerating. It is the musical version of traveling through time, of standing in two worlds at once. And that is why the Back to the Future comparison fits so perfectly. Because, like the film, the song refuses to stay in one moment, is moving, searching, promising that the story is not finished. There's another layer here. In Back to the Future, the ending left us wondering what comes next. Marty's story was closed, but also open, hinting that new adventures were waiting. Outlander has done the same. The final notes of the song are almost teasing, as if daring the audience to imagine where Claire and Jamie could go from here. Could they return to the past once more? Could they leap into the future and change history again? Could the Fraser legacy stretch further than anyone expected? The showrunners have not answered, but the music makes the question impossible to ignore. This is what makes the finale so unique. It is not just closure for longtime fans, but a puzzle piece that fits into something larger. It ties Outlander to the great tradition of time travel storytelling, where endings are never truly endings. They are stepping stones. Just as Marty's journey sparked sequels and inspired generations, Claire's journey may be setting the stage for something new. The parallels are too strong to overlook, and that is why the Back to the Future idea has become a rallying cry. Online, it captures what fans are feeling, that time in Outlander is not finished, and the future of the story is still unwritten. The moment the final episode aired, something extraordinary happened. The credits had barely finished rolling, the final song still echoing in people's minds, when the internet lit up like fire. Fans were not silent. They were loud, united, and emotional. across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and fan forums. 1. Message kept repeating. We want more. Not tomorrow. Not in a year now. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag OUTLANDER forever, hashtag more OUTLANDER, and hashtag back to the future OUTLANDER were trending worldwide. Clips of the final song were being shared thousands of times, paired with heartfelt captions. Some fans wrote that the song felt like a goodbye they weren't ready to hear. Others claimed it was a coded promise, a sign that the creators were leaving a secret message for those who understood. What united them all was passion. The final song feels like a direct mirror to this idea. Its rising tones echo the way time bends, folds, and repeats. When listeners described it as pulling them backward and forward at the same time, they were not exaggerating. It is the musical version of traveling through time, of standing in two worlds at once. And that is why the Back to the Future comparison fits so perfectly. 'Cause like the film, the song refuses to stay in one moment. It is moving, searching, promising that the story is not finished. There's another layer here. In Back to the Future, the ending left us wondering what comes next. Marty's story was closed, but also open, hinting that new adventures were waiting. Outlander has done the same. The final notes of the song are almost teasing, as if daring the audience to imagine where Claire and Jamie could go from here. Could they return to the past once more? Could they leap into the future and change history again? Could the Fraser legacy stretch further than anyone expected? The showrunners have not answered, but the music makes the question impossible to ignore. This is what makes the finale so unique. It is not just closure for longtime fans, but a puzzle piece that fits into something larger. To the great tradition of time travel storytelling, where endings are never truly endings. They are stepping stones. Just as Marty's journey sparked sequels and inspired generations, Claire's journey may be setting the stage for something new. The parallels are too strong to overlook. And that is why the Back to the Future idea has become a rallying cry. Online, it captures what fans are feeling, that time in Outlander is not finished. The future of the story is still unwritten. The moment the final episode aired, something extraordinary happened. The credits had barely finished rolling, the final song still echoing in people's minds, when the internet lit up like fire. Fans were not silent. They were loud, united, and emotional. Across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and fan forums. 1. Message kept repeating, we want more. Not tomorrow, not in a year now. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag OUTLANDER forever, hashtag more OUTLANDER, hashtag Back to the Future OUTLANDER were trending worldwide. Clips of the final song were being shared thousands of times, paired with heartfelt captions. Some fans wrote that the song felt like a goodbye they weren't ready to hear. Others claimed it was a coded promise, a sign that the creators were leaving a secret message for those who understood. What united them all was passion, a refusal to accept that this was the end of a story that had defined so many years of their lives. Petitions began to appear online. One demanded a spin-off focused on the next generation of Frasers. Another begged for a film continuation, saying the story was too big to end with a single song. Fans weren't just asking politely. They were rallying like an army, sharing links, gathering signatures, and tagging the cast and crew directly. It wasn't just a fandom response, it was a movement. Then came the interviews. Members of the cast were asked about the finale, and while none gave a straight answer, some of their words poured gasoline on the fire. One actor smiled when asked if this was really the end. Another hinted that the world of Outlander was too big to simply vanish. These small clues sent fans spiraling with excitement. Were the creators already planning a secret project? Was the final song their way of preparing us for the announcement? Entertainment blogs picked up the story quickly. Headlines shouted about the unexpected wave of demand. Articles described the fan reaction as unprecedented for a period drama. Outlander wasn't just ending, it was breaking out of the boundaries of television, entering the realm of cultural phenomena where audiences dictate what happens next. The show might be over, but the pressure from fans was only growing stronger by the hour. This is why people are calling it breaking news. because it is no longer just about what the creators decide. It has become a negotiation between the storytellers and the audience. Outlander belongs to its fans now more than ever, and the final song has become the symbol of that bond. Whether it leads to a spin-off, a movie, or a completely new chapter. One thing is clear: the fans are not letting go, and their voices are louder than ever. The final song of Outlander was more than music. It was a bridge carrying us from years of storytelling into an uncertain tomorrow. For many fans, it felt like the sound of a heartbeat slowing down, only to remind us that the heart still beats. That's why the reaction has been so powerful, because this is not just about the end of a show. It is about the end of a chapter in people's lives. Think about what Outlander has meant to its audience. For some, it was the escape they needed when the real world felt too heavy. For others, it was the story that reminded them love can survive time, distance, and even death. Entire friendships were built around weekly watch parties, online communities, and shared theories. When Jamie and Claire suffered, fans suffered. When they triumphed, fans felt that triumph as their own. That is why letting go feels impossible, because Outlander has become a part of who they are. The final song captured that feeling perfectly. It told fans in its own wordless way that even though the story is pausing, the spirit of it will never die. And perhaps, just perhaps, it whispered a promise. Time travel means nothing truly ends. Stories like time itself can always bend, circle, and begin again. This is why hope still burns so brightly. And now, the question passes to you, the audience. Do you believe this is the end? Or do you believe the song was a signal, a secret key, unlocking the door to more Outlander stories? The cast may have stayed silent, the creators may have left us guessing, but the truth might lie in the voices of fans. When people demand more, the story has a way of finding life again. So here's the call to action. Share your thoughts. Tell your theories. Spread the word. If you believe the song is not a goodbye but a doorway, let your voice join the chorus of fans around the world. Whether in petitions, hashtags, or simple conversations, every word adds weight. Because in the world of television, passion can change fate. And Outlander has already proven that destiny can be rewritten as the echoes of the final song linger. One thing is certain: this is not the silence of an ending. It is the sound of a pause before the next chapter begins. The stones are still standing. The future is still waiting. And the story of Outlander is far from over if we, the fans, refuse to let it end. When a story ends with so many unanswered questions, it doesn't feel like an ending at all. It feels like a pause. And Outlander's finale gave us exactly that, a pause disguised as a conclusion. The final song was the spark, but now the flames of speculation are spreading everywhere. What could come next? Where could this story travel? If the stones were to open once again, one possibility lies with the future generations of the Fraser family. Fans have long wondered if the children and grandchildren of Jamie and Claire might one day take center stage. The final notes of the song, with their rising tone, almost feel like a passing of the torch, like a signal that another Fraser story is waiting to be told. Spin-off could explore how the legacy of time travel continues, and whether the gift or curse moving between centuries can be inherited. Another path could take us forward in time, far beyond Claire's journey. If the story leapt into a century we have never seen in the show before, imagine Outlander colliding with the modern world in ways we cannot predict. What would Claire's knowledge mean in a future shaped by technology? Could her presence in a new era change the course of history just as much as it did in the past? The concept of Back to the Future becomes more than a metaphor. It becomes a real possibility for where the saga could go. And then there is the most daring, a speculation that Jamie and Claire's story itself is not done. The song might not be passing the torch at all. It might be calling them back, hinting that their lives still hold secrets the audience has yet to see. Time travel is never a closed door. If the stones can be crossed once, they can be crossed again. Perhaps the song's unfinished energy is proof that the greatest adventure still lies ahead for the characters we love most. Some fans believe the final melody even hides clues. They point to its shifts in rhythm as a sign of movement, like a journey not yet completed. They suggest the music mirrors the sound of traveling through time itself, pulling us toward another story. Others see it as a message from the creators. Pay attention, because the world of Outlander is bigger than what has been shown on screen so far. Speculation may be just that, dreams and theories. But history has shown that fan energy can bring stories back to life. If there is one thing Outlander has taught us, it's that time is never simple. It bends, it twists, and sometimes it gives us second chances. The question now is not whether the story could continue. The question is when and how the next chapter will reveal itself. The final song of Outlander may have marked the close of a chapter, but it has not silenced the story. In fact, it has done the opposite. It has awakened something in fans, something that refuses to fade away. That haunting melody is not a curtain. Following it is a voice echoing through time, whispering that the journey is not finished. For years, Jamie and Claire carried us across centuries, teaching us that love can outlast war, loss, and even time itself. They showed us that courage means stepping into the unknown, and that destiny is not fixed. It is shaped by the choices we make. The finale reminded us of all this, but it also left us with a deeper truth. Stories this powerful never really end. They live on, not just in books or on screens, but in the hearts of everyone who carried them. As the last notes of the song played, many fans cried, but listen carefully to those notes again. They do not sound like a goodbye. They sound like a door opening, like the wind through the stones, calling us forward. That is why the world is still buzzing, why fans are refusing to let go, because deep down, everyone feels it. Outlander still has more to give, and now the future belongs to the voices of the audience. Petitions, the hashtags, the endless conversations, they are proof that this world cannot be shut away. Just as Claire refused to accept the rules of time, fans refuse to accept that the final song is the last word. The story will move forward in one form or another, because love this strong cannot be silenced. So as we close this chapter, let's not call it the end. Let's call it the beginning of what comes next. Perhaps it will be a spin-off, perhaps a film, or perhaps an entirely new saga yet to be revealed. But one thing is certain, the spirit of Outlander will continue to live, carried by every person who believes in its power. The stones are waiting, the song is still playing, and somewhere, across the line between past and future, the next adventure is calling.